First of all, thanks a lot that you took the time for this interview.
My pleasure.
You the first time in Germany?
Yes, it is.
What did you see until now?
I see a crowd of English crazy people, cheering up for their team in Nuremberg, because they won yesterday. And I see a bit of Erlangen, which is a nice town. I really enjoy walking around the town today in the morning. And, here, the festival, which looks pretty cool.
You live in Mexico City. How's the life there?
How's the life there?
Yeah.
I believe
never been there, so.
Well, I believe it's as difficult as every major city in the world. I think, pretty much pollution, a lot of traffic, a lot of violence, crime and stuff. But as every other big city, but I like it there. It's where my family is, where my friend is, where my background. Everything that I love is in Mexico City, actually, and there's a lot of things to do. It's not that you can't walk in the street alone because they're gonna rob you or something like that. There's like nice places and are not so nice places as well. So you just gotta be careful where to go, and but if you go to the right places, you can enjoy yourself as hell.
If you look outside of your window, what do you see?
I see my neighbors' kids playing, ball, playing, with their bikes and that. I live in a pretty quiet street, so and I enjoy seeing kids playing. It's not something that you see a lot anymore in where I live. So that's what I see. I see the sun. We have sunny days mostly, and we have a nice weather. It's not warm, it's not cold, and so I have a little terrace where I work, so I can go and take five minutes off my work and enjoy a little bit and play with my cats. So that's what I see.
Okay. From 1998 to 2003, you were working for your own label, Cliffhanger.
Right.
Was this your dream come true?
Pretty much. When I started working on comic books, I didn't realize that I wanted to do my own stories. I just wanted to draw superheroes. And that dream came true. So if you don't have a new dream to accomplish, you get pretty bored, So when I realized that I have stories to tell, I try to look for a place where to tell them, and Cliffhanger, pretty much landed in my lap. That's the way it was, and I have this, I think, nice story to tell. Crimson, they liked it, and mostly we were friends. Well, we are friends. Joe Madureira and Jeff Campbell and myself, we're friends. We've been friends, for a bit before Cliffhanger, and we remain friends till today. So when I get into Cliffhanger, it was a dream come true, because I could do a story that I wanted to draw, and I was able to work with maybe at that time the two most influenced comic book artists in the U.S. at that time. So it was awesome, actually.
What's more interesting, working on your own own titles, or on titles like Spider-Man or Wolverine?
Both. It's a different feeling. Has different directions, but to me it's as cool, to draw an icon character as Spidey is, or Wolverine now. But I can't explain, exactly how nice it is to create from scratch, and to the thrill of thinking what I might think it's a nice story to tell. It's thrilling actually, and it's a different enjoyment, but it's cool as well. I mean, both have their own nice places to go, and of course, there are no so nice stuff. But I enjoy them both when I'm doing them.
Well, you see a lot of different titles from you. Crimson was a vampire series, Spider-Man the usual superhero,
right.
Revelations, a story about belief and hell,
right?
To give some examples. Which one was your preferred?
I think, it's difficult. I think most every story that I've done has a special place to me because it delivers something special afterwards to me. Like, Impulse, even if when it wasn't a big book, it made me a known name in the industry. So that to me, it's a big accomplishment, right? Crimson was my first career novel book, so that was a big accomplishment as well. But and Revelations now is, I think, the most personal, developed story that I've done, because it's about faith and about belief, and things that I really care a lot about in my regular life. I mean, it's not that I'm walking around in Mexico City at night and I see vampires and angels, but beliefs and faith, it's something that in Mexico City, it's your everyday chat.
You also launched a title in France together with Soleil Productions, written by Chris C.,
right?
Which is a space opera. How did this come up?
Well, when I get to these places, Spider-Man, creator novel books, and that, again, you have to place yourself in maybe not, I don't know if better places, but different places. If you get your goals accomplished, you need to find some new goals. And in Mexico, for years, with the comic book community, we've seen Europe as the promised land. I mean, the U.S. is like what makes you known and makes you a potential, well known or creative proposal to somebody, somebody else, or a product, whatever. But Europe makes you, or that's our belief, at least, makes you an artist, a real artist. And so when I finished doing, I think, Crimson, people from France start calling me about doing this book, and I need to do things before. I did Spider-Man, but since they came to me in the first place, in the first time, I started thinking about doing something in Europe, but I wasn't sure if I would be able to handle it, because again, what we knew from Europe at that time is Jodorowsky and all these Liberatore, Moebius, huge artists, and I wasn't sure if I'll be able to fit, here. But with the time, it came to a personal challenge to do it. And when I finished my run on Spider-Man, these guys were calling me every so often, to check on me and see how was my schedule and that. So when I finished Spider-Man, I thought it'll be a nice time to do that, and that's how I get into Soleil and Europe.
Are we going to see this comic in Germany?
I hope so.
Maybe from Carlson.
Maybe from yeah. I believe they'll do their work.
Are you religious?
If I am?
Yes.
Religious, yeah. Churchman, no. Not anymore, at least. I was, but not anymore. It seems the same, but it's not the same at all. Church, to me, became into an institution, as a social club or whatever. And religion and faith is way more than that.
You're from Mexico, and of course, all things turn around football in these days.
Sure, can you see?
I'm sure you like football.
I love football.
So what is your guess? Who's going to win the World Championship?
Well, I love to say Mexico, but I'm realistic. We have a nice team. We have a good team. We surely will be over the next round. No problem with that. Our tougher enemy, it's Portugal. They have a great team, but today we have a game against Angola, and with all my respects to them, we'll have no problem on beating them. So
That's also my tip.
Right. So we'll get 6 points, and we're in the next round. Then things get tougher because our group gotta play against either Argentina or Netherlands. So that's get tougher, And then if we are lucky and get to the next round, surely we'll get till against Germany, and that's where things are getting gonna get ugly. So my logic says Brazil will win the cup, but Germany has a great team, and they're local here. And it's not that I'm trying to be nice to the German people, but you guys have a great team this year. Either when you guys say that you don't, I've been reading about how you guys don't like the head coach because he lives in the U.S. All this stuff. But I'm pretty sure Germany can make it.
Well, let's say there's just one newspaper who doesn't like them.
Okay, well,
but there's a reason for this.
So I think I love to see Brazil winning the cup. Because they have a great team, they're great players, and they enjoy playing soccer. So that's what I like seeing when I see a game.
Okay. Visitors can climb down the building. Did you see this?
What?
Here. They can climb down the building here on this tall building.
Really? No, I haven't
Is this
seen
something you would like to do?
Here?
Yeah. You know this attraction? You get
no idea.
By like a cable, and then you can run down the wall,
like
directly vertical down to the ground.
Like Resident Evil 2?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
So, how's your average working day? How disciplined are you?
I think I'm a pretty disciplined guy. Pretty much, this is my work day. I get up like 8:30 or 9 in the morning. I go to gym, sometimes, not every day. It depends on how the work is. And then I start working around 10 or lately 11. I mean, the latest 11, and then I work till 3, and then I'll go have lunch. We in Mexico we don't have lunch at 12. I don't know here, but it's not in that like in the U.S.
Normally here it's about 12 o'clock, and then at 6 o'clock at the evening we're
Right. It's in Mexico we have like a late lunch, let's say, around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then go back to work till 2 in the morning, something like that. That's an average work day to me.
How's your routine after receiving the script?
I read the script, like a fast, quickly first read, and then I start drawing page by page. I like drawing. I know people that they pick the difficult pages first or the easy pages first, whatever, and they do them all together, and then they keep the difficult ones till the end or whatever. I don't like doing that, so I do the whole story, as it goes, because to me it's easier to have a following of what I'm doing if I do as the story goes, and so I pretty much do like pretty fast thumbnails of what I'm gonna do. I mean, I take like 10 minutes trying to or designing the page, and then the real work starts. I mean, it's more like trying to find references and make it look nice. Finding the nicer or even a close up or a medium shot, whatever. And it's all hard work. I mean, it's all sweaty. No, it's not that creative work at that point. The creative work is like these 10 minutes where I do the thumbnail, then I got the idea, and then it's all work. That's pretty much the way it is to me.
Have you ever written a known script?
And I've tried, but I respect what a writer does. Well, as much as I tried, I know I'm not writer, and I have ideas that I want to do, but I have to understand that I first need to learn the craft of how to write a story, and I'm not there yet. So till I don't feel that I can deliver a decent work, I mean, I'm not trying to be like a top seller novelist or anything like that. Just somebody that can actually create a logical following a story line, and I'm not that guy yet. At least I don't know if I'm gonna be it all at some point in my life, but till I feel that I'm not, I'm gonna leave that work to a writer. So I always go to a writer to share my stories with, like I did with Crimson, and out there with Brian Augustine, and Revelations now with Paul Jenkins.
When did you begin to draw?
Well, in real life I was like 4, and professionally I believe it was like 21 when I started in Mexico, and then 23 when I started in the US. So professionally I've been working like 14 years already. But pretty much it's been my whole life, as every other kid.
Which comic books did you read when you were a child?
Spider-Man. In Mexico, we had like a lot of superhero books, like the Avengers and Fantastic Four, and Daredevil and Batman, Superman, the Legion. But to me, the most compelling and thrilling book was and is sometimes Spider-Man. Yep.
Hi. You brought graffiti style into mainstream comics.
Well, thank you. I haven't realized that.
Was it the next logical thing to do? What is the thing the market could buy? Or is it your style? Why do you brought this melange?
I don't know. I just think that I want to draw something that is easy to see. You know, I'm not trying to be an artist because I'm not. I'm just a penciler. You know, a comic book penciler, which is different from an artist. Even when in the U.S. they label us as artists, we are, or at least I'm not. I'm just trying to do something that I think people might like. It's not that I'm saying they should like that, but I'm, you know, that's just my point of view, and that's what I do. Something that I think, if I'm reading this book, would I like to see what this guy is doing? That's the way I take it, and I hope that people take it that way as well.
But are you into graffiti, into baggy style, something like this?
Well, I did study graphic design in Mexico, and well, I don't know if I put a lot of those things that I learned in school in my books. I believe I might, you know, because it's something that you can't take away from you. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just think of myself as a guy who draw funny books. You know.
You said that you are now published in France. You're an artist, but it's very funny. All French artists says, "Well, I'm a worker." You say you're a worker in America. Now that you're published in French, you're an artist, and all the French artists say, "Well, I'm just a worker, and I have to work for my money." So that it's a little bit funny that this understanding of the French people is working as workers, and you're happy to be an artist.
Well, I don't think myself as an artist. I just said that I think the people in Europe or France at that point, I consider them as artists. So I don't think myself as an artist, but I know that I have to compete against them, and I have a lot of respect for the European artists because I see them that way, and I believe you get to be an artist when you don't think yourself as one. And if you say the French artists that, you know, they say they're workers, I think that's a quality of an artist.
Is this new style of this in Germany the Offenbarung? Prophecy. You're very more into like old paintings. Your very clean style of your early comics is followed now by a very detailed. I remember this is rain pictures where you hardly can see anything. Like in real rain, it is. It took more time.
Yeah.
Is it paid?
When I did Revelations, or how you say it is in German, I wanted to do something different because, as I said before, it was more like a personal story. It's of course it's not my biographic, you know, story or something like that. It's just something that I wanted to tell, which is faith, which to me it's a pretty important thing in my life. And I thought that it would be nice to take it in a different way, the visuals, and and it took me a little bit more of time, and the pencil is more tightened and more rendering on the pages, and a different texture. I use different paper. I try different things for this book, and I think at the end it paid. What I see when I saw the book published, I liked it, and I hope people liked it as well.
So your payment isn't just only in spendable.
Right. Money is money, and I do, of course, work for a rate. As much as I love my work, I do understand is that a work, and it's not like the money was great, or they were paying me double or triple shifts because I was doing extra work. No, they were paying me the same thing. But I thought the story that I wanted to tell needed to be told that way, so I didn't care that much about the payment.
Yes, you mentioned it before, and it seems to me like it's you want to tell us something more about truth and this character which is very sarcastical with himself. He knows smoking isn't good, but he smokes even more the harder the story gets. And,
right.
And he gets into with this woman, and everybody who knows this genre knows when there's a blonde babe with big boots, well, it must be the devil.
Yeah.
So it's something like you. Are you smoking? Do you have problems with your trust into your beliefs? And
I do smoke, not as he does. I mean, I smoke 4 cigarettes a day, the most. And I'm a little healthier than this guy, and I'm a lot like him in a sarcastic way.
Yeah.
As I was telling before, I grew up as a Catholic. I'm still Catholic, I believe. I really don't know.
Well, believe in church. 2 pairs of shoes.
Yeah, I once believed that faith, religion, and church was the same thing. Then I wasn't that sure anymore, and now I'm pretty sure it's not. I think religion, it's what creates the faith, and church is what kills faith.
Yeah. Your change in thoughts, are they anywhere connected to your work? Weren't you still believing while you're doing Crimson and something like this, and then this big change came, and so you have to express it with your new style?
Not really. I mean, I start questioning my belief in church way before Crimson.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Mexico church is pretty heavy on you. It's like the first commandment in Mexico. It's in the Catholic Church in Mexico, at least, is you should feel guilty of anything. Whatever you do, you feel guilty. And at some point, I pretty much got maybe it wasn't the way it should be, And I start questioning myself, and then I start getting to places, where there weren't answers, or at least not clear answers. I still do have friends who are priests, and we talked, and I explained them, and I tell them, my thoughts and my beliefs and my
Did
questions.
they received your story?
No, I don't think so. I don't see them anymore. So I don't know if they've read it, but curiously, these guys who are my friends, they weren't that in a disagreement with me, about how church works. Even when they are still in the
part of the church.
yeah, they understand my concerns, and they know that a lot of people like me, it's walking away from the church because of what they are not doing, which is stop, killing us with this guilt, every single day, and start working with us, to regain faith, not only in religion but in the institution as well. And they were pretty much agree with me, but they have to support their institution.
Sure.
So
so they're workers for themselves.
Mhm.
And another.
Exactly. So so that as I telling you, that was years before Crimson. I believe Crimson is like has a little of that, with the angels and that, and how the angels react to the people. It's a beginning of what I wanted to tell, and I still have like a bunch of different stories, that involve religion and faith. So
Out There was by you too.
yes.
That's also a story of looking for a new home, looking for new beliefs. So you like those stories?
I love that kind of stories. I mean, as I told you, faith is a big deal in my life.
Yeah, no, I know it.
So
It erates from you.
yeah, maybe I don't know, but it's a big deal to me, and there's been times where I felt the lack of faith, and I don't know where to go or how to find it again. So maybe it's this is a quest.
Yeah,
of
maybe that's your part in your life,
right.
doing a little bit of merging real life and faith and church together again.
Exactly.
I have a question back to your graphics.
Okay.
This very impressing rain pictures. First, I looked at them. Wow. They are just whoa. And
Thank
then,
you.
then I looked them over again, and well, what will he tell us? And then I saw this markers. So the reader is directed by you into the focus of the picture, which I wouldn't have get it in another way because there's so much rain. Did you plan it this way? Weren't these markers planned, or did they came later because anybody told you, "Hey, Ramos, what are you doing? I don't see anything but rain here."
Okay. No. It's I thought it that way, because I knew, to was going to be difficult to tell the story, between the rain. The rain was an important thing on the story. Since the beginning, we create the story, in a rainy environment. Because it's, just because of a visual thing, it's more compelling, and I think it gives you a mystery edge, So we wanted
film noir. It was raining,
right,
dark.
exactly. We wanted to it to be that way. But so I knew it's going to be a little tricky in some places to read the story the way it should be. So I took this idea that Carlos Meglia does a lot in their stories, and he makes like little marks and little frames in the panel, within the panel. Yeah. So I take it from him and I use them in a bunch of panels in the book. Mm-hmm.
In the story, there in the first rain scene, there's this medallion, which is very important.
Right.
And then again, it turns up in the drawer.
Uh huh.
But I missed it in the rest of the story. I didn't get it. It is introduced as something important,
Yeah.
and then, well, I'm still looking for the conclusion of this importance.
Well, that's because we still have story to tell about the medallion that we'll do later on, and
So there
in a
comes a-
following story.
Okay. Thank you for this insights,
Well, thank you,
and we're looking forward for your further work.
thank you, and I'm really grateful to be here, and I never thought people would find something that I could say interesting. So thank you for having me here.
Something. I have 5 minutes left. 5 minutes is okay.
4? Okay.
You said about your work, your worker, and here in Germany or here in Erlangen there are a lot of German comic artists,
Yeah, I saw a bunch of them.
but they can't be workers because drawing comic books doesn't feed the family here
Okay.
in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know this? Do you know that that your point in working is like the holy grail for most of the German
I didn't
comic
know.
book artists?
No, I didn't know that.
They all do advertisements and any stuff that pays the rent.
No, it's pretty much the same as in Mexico. If you do comic books in Mexico for a Mexican publisher, it's gonna be that way as well, because that's what they will.
Aragon is told sometimes that he left Mexico because of that.
Exactly.
He had a job,
Yeah.
he had enough to do, but not enough to eat, and so he packed his luggage and went to New York.
And with Sergio was even a more difficult time, because nowadays I can work in Mexico in my home, in my place, in my house, and still get a big amount of work. And Sergio has to leave Mexico to get
Yes.
his work. Now it's in that part it's easier, but still you have to believe in you.
Again,
Now that you got-
your theme.
Yeah, I mean, you need to know that you got the talent to do that, and close the door. I mean, and go there and show them that you are the guy there.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe the guys here in Germany might do the same. Maybe not even here, or maybe in the US, maybe France. I don't know. I don't know really. I'm still learning how it really works here in Europe. But I've seen a couple guys that I really liked a lot. I wouldn't say names because I don't understand German, and it's pretty difficult for me to even try to pronounce them. But there's people that I believe that can make it pretty good there and make a really good living from the U.S. Comic book market. But guys, you got to believe in yourselves.
Yes, we will spill this message,
Please do.
and we keep our fingers crossed for Mexican football team
Yeah, please do.
till this German Mexico
Yeah.
game will
But
happen.
there's something important.
Okay.
You gotta believe in yourselves. You gotta go there. There. Where the people who's giving work is.
Mhm.
They won't come here for you, guys. So if you want to make it, I want to tell you something. An inside tip. These guys, the American guys, are not that good. There's people like the ones you see in the Polish comic books that are really really good, but not everybody is that good. So when I went to the first place in the first place when I was trying to get a job there in Mexico, we had this idea that these guys were so good, way better than us. And when I got there, I saw that there are a few or a bunch of them that are really good, but the rest of them are as good as we were, and even a bigger bunch were worse than you. So you can make it. I mean, if you really want to do it, you
So you encourage everybody to believe in yourself, pack his bag, go to San Diego, and show yourself.